Today we're looking at 8 of the best compound bows built for older hunters who still know how to fill a tag. We're checking out rigs that draw easy, hit hard, and won't shred your shoulders after a few shots. If you're a senior who's gotten sick and tired of compound bows that make you feel like you're cranking a rusty garage door spring, these 8 bows will get you back in the game in no time. Let's jump right in. Mission Switch. Back in 2019, Mission Archery tore up its own playbook and rolled out the Switch, a bow they meant for everyone to use, including the guys in our camp who've had rotator cuff surgery and no longer want to horse around 70-pound limbs. The rig slips from 11 to 70 pounds of draw weight and stretches 18 to 30 inches, so tinkering with it is almost as simple as swapping the propane tank on the grill. At full draw, the cams give you an 80% let-off, which turns a 40-pound setting into about 8 pounds of hold weight, easy on creaky elbows during a long ground line sit. Mission's Fast Fit cam is the secret sauce. 1 screw, half a minute, and the draw length is different. The grip is narrow enough that it doesn't torque even if your knuckles aren't what they used to be. Now, it won't rip arrows at headline velocity. 305 FPS is the ceiling. But inside 40 yards, that number is academic. I've watched switch shooters punch clean through whitetails, and one buddy used his set at 55 pounds to drop a Colorado cow elk. Speed fans can look elsewhere. Hunters who need a bow that cooperates with an aging frame should keep reading. Bare weight sits at 3.84 pounds, a shade heavier than some, yet still light enough for stop and stock days. You can buy the Bear bow for about $399. I don't know how many retirees who will call that price painful, and the payoff is a rig that adapts to declining strength rather than sentencing you to the sidelines. Diamond Edge XT. Diamond released the Edge XT in 2022 with a single mission: give folks an adjustable, ready-to-hunt package that won't spook the checkings account. Draw length slides from 19 to 31 inches, and draw weight spans 20 to 70. 80% let-off means you're only holding a fifth of whatever you dial in. The bow pulls smoothly, then settles into a firm valley that refuses to creep. Everything arrives bolted on: octane sight, biscuit rest, quiver, wrist sling, and a short stabilizer. Those accessories use plastic housings, but anchor into metal inserts, so nothing strips out after a season of tweaks. Diamond split string peep keeps the aperture upright without rubber tubing, and that's one less gadget to fail on a wet November evening. The Edge XT's 22-inch riser produces a compact 31-inch axle-to-axle length, great in a pop-up blind, though that stubbiness can make the sight pins wander unless you add a little weight out front. There's a faint buzz after the shot, hardly enough to scare squirrels. Set above 60 pounds, the bow wrecks hogs and easily passes through deer. Drop to 30 and is perfect for backyard form work. At roughly $460 bare, or a bit more as the full kit, it's hard to find a bow that gives seniors this much adjustability for so little money. Alright, legends, you still with us? You've got that steady aim, so go hit the subscribe button and join the crew that never misses. It's lighter than your draw and quicker than a release. No strings, just solid gear and sharp tips. Let's keep aiming higher. Bowtech Amplify. Bowtech slid the Amplify on the Pro Shop racks to prove that flagship tech could live in mid-price territory. It runs from 8 to 70 pounds and 21 to 30 inches of draw, then hands you 85% let-off so the strain all but disappears. The split limbs and pre-stretched strings hold dead steady, and real-world chronograph numbers in the high 280s with a 500 grain arrow tell me that the claimed 335 FPS rating is legit. The draw cycle starts a bit stout, yet transitions smoothly into a solid limb stop wall that never feels mushy. Grip ergonomics are fine, but not luxurious. Wrap it with hockey tape if you want more contour. At 4 pounds even, the bow balances nicely once you screw in a 12-inch stabilizer. Noise after release is more thunk than twang, so turkeys rarely flinch. We've used amplifies set around 65 pounds to drop black bears and cows, and one of the granddads in camp runs his at 45 for Iowa deer with complete pass-throughs. Because the axle-to-axle length sits at 31.5, the rig moves easily inside ladder stands without banging rails. Sticker price starts at $649. For older hunters who still demand speed and tunability, but refuse to fork over four figures, the Amplify earns its keep every fall. It also doubles as a solid practice bow, forgiving enough that missed sessions in the off-season won't completely throw off your form. Even after time away, shooters tend to find their rhythm quickly again once they clip in and settle into draw. PSE Drive NXT. PSE unveiled the Drive NXT in 2021, remachining the riser and grafting on the ZF Quad-Track Cam Plus full draw stability tech. The result is a 33-inch bow weighing 4.4 pounds that feels anchored to the target once you hit full draw. Draw length adjusts from 24 to 31 inches. Let off is a comfortable 80%. 7 inches of brace height forgive lazy winter form when gloves stay on. Noise and hand shock are minimal. The bow shipped through my shop at 70 pounds and lobbed a 430 grain arrow at 295 FPS, plenty for elk and moose. If you never plan to crank past 50 pounds, it still throws enough energy for whitetails. The only real ding is the fixed let-off. There's no high valley module, though most seniors prefer the gentler 80% feel anyways. Bare price is $800, and given the accuracy that this rig offers and the way it resists torque, I'd call it an inexpensive insurance for filling tags when the weather gets ugly and muscles tire a bit faster than they used to. It's also a bow that won't punish you if you skip a few practice sessions between seasons. Even after a layoff, the Drive NXT's easy draw and steady aim can quickly restore confidence when it matters most. PSE Stinger ATK. PSE refreshed the venerable Stinger line in 2023 with the Stinger ATK, stuffing the Grow With You SS cam into a 32-inch frame. 80% let-off lightens the hole, and draw length swings from 21.5 to 30 inches without a press. At a flat 4 pounds, the bow carries easily all day. The cam rolls over smoothly and never dumps you in a deep valley, which spares aging shoulders from sudden shifts. Speeds reach 312 FPS, respectable for a budget model, and the 6 5/8 of an inch brace height splits the difference between forgiveness and zip. Grip is plain but functional. You can always add side plates if you crave more contour. The Stinger ATK lives to hunt deer, pronghorn, hogs, and black bear. Dial it down to 40 pounds though, and it's still lethal on turkey. Run it at 65 with a 500 grain shaft, and you can chase elk if you keep shots honest. Ready to shoot bundles shave setup time, but even the bare bow at roughly 419 gives you plenty of headroom for upgrades without emptying the grocery fund. Given its reliability, ease of tuning, and generous adjustability, it's a bow that can easily stick around for years, evolving right alongside the shooter as needs, strength, and interests shift over time. Elite Terrain. Elite's Terrain showed up in 2022 as the blue-collar flagship. It weighs a hair under 4 pounds, sits 32.5 inches axle to axle, and carries an 85% let-off module that makes extended holding drills downright pleasant. 7 inches of brace height and a hybrid cam tuned for a front-loaded, gentle rollover create a shot cycle every senior in our circle can appreciate. The riser's geometry keeps the bow settled in the pocket even when you breathe hard on the late-season climbs. Factory-installed Vibex blocks and a string stop take care of residual noise. Draw length spins from 25.5 to 31.5 inches in half steps, so sharing the bow between spouses is simple. Peak weights are offered in 45 to 60 or 55 to 70 pound sets. Either limb choice lets you back out 15 pounds for rehab sessions. Top speed is 325 FPS, fast enough for any game this side of Cape Buffalo, and real-life arrow speeds hover near 290 FPS at hunting weights. I've watched terrain shooters punch heart shots through mule deer out to 40 yards with complete pass-throughs. Cost lands at $699. Now, considering the build quality and Elite's lifetime backing, that's stellar value for older hunters looking for a lightweight rig that won't punish their joints. Even better, the forgiving nature of the terrain means fewer missed opportunities out in the field, even when fatigue or cold fingers try to creep in. It's a bow that rewards good habits without being so unforgiving that a slip ruins your day. PSE Brute ATK. The Brute name has bounced around PSE's catalog for years, but the 2022 Brute ATK marks the series' biggest leap. The new AF binary cam pushes published speeds to 329 FPS and hands over an 80% let-off. Draw length moves from 23 to 30.5 inches. Limb choices are 60 or 70 pounds, both backing out about 10 turns. At 4.1 pounds, the bow isn't feather light, yet the extra ounce or two also calms pin movement. The draw is firm from start to anchor, with no false valley, a feel some seniors actually prefer because the bow won't lurch forward if they relax. Noise is subdued to a dull thud, and vibration is minimal thanks to decent limb pockets and a stout riser. Our camp has used Brute ATKs on everything from whitetails to cow elk, and performance never left us wanting. Cons? Well, no rear bar mount, and the let-off feels a hair shy of the rated number. But those nits fade quickly once you see those arrows driving deep and groups stacking tight. Prices float between $499 and $629, depending on finish and package. That puts strong speed, steady aim, and lifetime service within reach for any retiree who'd rather spend savings on fuel and tags. For those willing to dial in the setup with a good stabilizer and broadhead tuning session, the Brute ATK rewards you with a bow that stays dependable season after season, without the usual frustrations that cheaper rigs can bring. Mathews Prima. Mathews released the Prima in late 2021, intending it for women and short draw hunters. Yet its engineering makes it a gem for any archer who fits within its 21.5 to 27.5 inch draw window. The cross-centric cam, engage grip, and center guard cable system mirror Mathews' flagship line, scaled to a 30-inch axle-to-axle package weighing 3.93 pounds. It's built not as a compromise, but as a compact precision machine for serious hunters who demand full flagship performance, even in a smaller format. An 80% let-off merges with a 5.5-inch brace height to send arrows as fast as 321 FPS at 27.5 inches of draw. Thanks to the Nano 740 harmonic dampener, the bow is whisper quiet, perfect for close-range ambushes. The riser's reflexed bridged shape keeps it rigid even under max limb deflection, so accuracy stays consistent shot after shot, regardless of field conditions or shooter fatigue. Limitations? Well, the short draw range disqualifies lankier shooters, and the premium build commands a premium tag, $1,099 bare. Still, if you fall within its specs, you're holding a finely tuned instrument that won't jar aging wrists and shoulders. We've run Primas at 50 pounds on hog hunts and 70 pounds on antelope. Penetration was never in doubt, and the bow slipped back into the truck without a rattle or fuss. For seniors who'd rather just pay once for a lightweight, high-tech bow than cycle through mid-range gear, the Prima offers a quiet, efficient companion that keeps delivering long after cheaper rigs lose their luster, season after season, hunt after hunt. And that's it for our roundup of the top 8 bows for seniors. No gimmicks, no muscle-tearing draw cycles, just smooth, dependable shooters that still get the job done. If you've got a different setup that's kept you in the woods longer than your joints should allow, drop it in the comments below. Please, we'd love to know more about it. And hit like, share this video with your hunting buddies, and subscribe for more of these breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and have fun out there.
This is Threat to Survival. Prepare today, thrive tomorrow. Embrace the threat to survival.